this, carved, not built. They were carved in the face of the mountain. How deep? Believe it or not, 200 feet deep. And then we have the mountain. What they did is they cut the mountain and the temples into blocks of stone, more than 7,000 blocks. And then everything was given a number and direction. How many degrees north, how many east, and so. And they were numbered from 1 to more than 7,000. And they were moved up 200 feet and to the west 600 feet. And then they were reconstructed. You know, like the jigsaw puzzle kind of thing. They built concrete walls and they started to put all the pieces side by side. And then to show us that this looks like the mountain, the ancient mountain, they built a dome, and you see this concrete dome over there above the temple. When it was finished in 1968, it was the largest on earth. Until we started to see those big basketball arenas with the bigger domes later. But 1968, this was the largest. When they were moving the statues, you can see what happened. Look at this face of Ramses. When it was cut, look at the faces of Ramses and Nefertari. And then during that reconstruction, the statues of the facade are here before they built the dome. And wait until you see it when we get down. So you see all the pictures here. When we're done, we'll come back and take more pictures of that. I want to show you the real thing, so we don't want to spend more time here. But when we go down, and maybe 200 years, 300 years from now, two guys will never say that the temples were moved. Nobody will tell the difference, but wait until you see the eighth wonder. Ready for that?
Yeah.
And 200 feet down. If you look at the seeds for the light show over there, and you go down 200 feet, that's where the original temple is. Then took them 4.5 years to move it here, and then built the concrete wall, the dome, and when you come to the statues of Ramses II, who decided to become a god, and you see the 4 statues, he's the king of the gods. Right here he's a king, because you see the straight beard.
Straight beard.
When you go inside, in the Holy of Holies, you will see the statues of Ramses, who became a god. Here, when you see him with the other 3 gods, 4 gods worship together in the Holy of the Holies, and he became a god himself.
What?
Oh, can you see
You would like to become a goddess?
Yes.
I thought you already were.
Symbol of what?
What happened to the one that got,
Baboons are the animals who wake up early in the morning and they make noise. Egyptians believe they are praying to worship the sunrise, and they became symbol of the sunrise. And we estimated we should count 24, but when we counted them, we found 22 only. So I don't know whether it was a mistake or the place was not enough to make 24, so they just stuck to 22. The second statue from the left was broken in an earthquake in ancient times, by the way. And the son of Ramses decided to restore it, but it didn't work. So he left the crown. Can you see the crown?
Yes.
On the ground. And when the German teams decided to move it, they decided this is part of the history of the site, so let's move it as it used to be.
Yes.
So they took pictures and they put the crown exactly as it used to be in the past. Members of the royal family are between the legs. Can you see that?
Yes.
By the way, including Nefertari herself.
Really?
But in her human form. So you see Nefertari, if you go back one way, the lady here on the right and on the left, this is Nefertari, but as what?
Human.
Human, wife of the shadow of the god. In her temple over there, you will see she's standing next to Ramses, having exactly the same size. Because over there she become a goddess. So it depends on the function of the statue. If it's just human, she will be smaller. If she becomes a god divine, she will be as big as Ramses. Then we see in the middle we have a falcon with a thumb disc, and this is called the solar form of Horus. Horus, the falcon god. When you give Horus the solar disc, you call it Ra Horachti, Ra and Horus of the 2 horizons. and he was one of the most famous gods in ancient Egypt.
Statue in the
And
middle
when you look
is
at the orientation of this temple, and we discovered a beautiful
Yeah,
phenomenon. Every year, 21st of Feb, 21st of October, the sun rises on the face of Ramses inside the sanctuary, which is what? 200 feet from the entrance. And you see the entrance is not so big. Can you see that?
Yes.
So the engineering of this temple, ancient engineering, 3,200 years ago, allowed the sun to rise on the face of Ramses twice a year. When the Germans moved it, the two dates changed to 22nd of Feb and 22nd of October, because we came up and we moved to the west. So from 21st to 22nd. And don't believe the books that will tell you this is the birthday and the coronation day of Ramses. We have no evidence on that. But it's just the idea is how those architects were smart enough to figure out this. And this is not a constructed temple. This is what? A rock cut temple. Imagine you're cutting in the rock, and your plan from the very beginning is to allow the sun to shine on its face, and you do it. And when we tell you it took 25 to 30 years to finish this temple, which means the engineers who made the design never saw it when it finished because they were gone already, but the people who continued doing it did it exactly as the first engineer planned it. And before I set you free, I'd like to show you some, I call them beautiful scenes on the statues, so you will kindly follow me to show you this. Yes.
I want to enjoy the moment.
You're there. I got
It's not a constructed, not a built temple. It's a rock cut temple, so we don't really have a facade on the outside. We just have the statues. So they decided to show, and he gets married to the princess, the daughter of the Hittite king. And then we come to the statues and see the graffiti. Can you see that? Look at the dates. You will never see any date before 1813, because those temples were covered with sand until 1813. Till Burckhardt, the Swiss, found the temple. This lady is John Turkish, and he's saying, I'm the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. I am the son of the sun, Ra. That's how we call it. I'm the son of the sun god, and that's his birth name. I represent Taurus of the two horizons. So he became, he called himself a god. This guy. He's trampling over his enemies. Can you see them? Oh, different features. Can you see that? But they all come from where? North of Egypt. Because the other statue will show us the enemies of the south of Egypt. Can you see them stand? Africans, right?
Yeah.
Orientation of the temple, by the way. This is north and that's south. So on the southern statue, we have the southern enemies, expected enemies that we say. The northern statue, we have the northern enemies. That's why they look different. All right, so you will enter the first room, enjoy it. Starting from the second room, you will start to see the religious scenes facing the gods and goddesses until you end with the Holy of the Holies. How do you tell which one is Ramses II? It is the second statue from the right. So there are four statues. Second from the right is Ramses II. All right, when you finish this, you can just walk to the other temple, Nefertari, and then you either walk back. Those of us who use the golf cart, it will come back to pick you up maybe an hour from now.
Yes.
And yes, you told them an hour? All right, and 1:30 at the bus. 1:30, we see you in the parking lot at the bus. So if you want to spend more time here, you can be here until 1:15 and then start going up. If you want to go up earlier than this to get something from the coffee place or something, we'll be ready anyways. Okay.
How are you?
This is the Temple of Kadesh, or the Battle of Kadesh. Really stinky.
Avec des bancs et des niches.
Well, these probably had some statues or something in here, so kiosks.
Peggy. Peggy.
Institutions for which
Yeah, you shot it.